It's a terrific Thursday, and we're on your screens again with the most interactive show on TV in Ghana. This is Joy News Interactive, and my name is Jennifer Kwamwa. It looks like this has been a week where the men of God have taken center stage of the discussions on social media. We've spoken about Bishop Dag Heward-Mills chastising African leaders for what he termed as lack of wisdom in the implementation of their policies. And then we have another two men of God on our menu today. First, someone who is very popular, and usually for the wrong reasons, and today is not an exception. His name is Bishop Daniel Obinim, and he's been a topic of discussion on social media after a video of him beating two members of his church for, guess what? Fornication. Bishop Obinim beating somebody for fornication. Let's think about that for a minute. And we have another man of God who is the general overseer of the charismatic evangelistic ministry. My tongue is all tied up today. And that's Reverend Stephen Mensah, who's also saying Ghanaians are overly expectant of their leaders and expect their leaders to perform magic. Well, if you want to get in touch, you can do so via our social media handles. On WhatsApp, we're on 0560800000. On Facebook, we're at facebook.com/Joy News on TV. On Twitter, we're at Joy News on TV or at JNI Interactive GH. So now onto our first issue, and this has been something that has raised a lot of very intense emotions from everybody who has watched the video. Well, here it is.
Watching, who after the wish you a woman. Who like my credit said, 3 months of grabber. Watching, making hook in the ball. Watching, hey, so I catch us one in them, on catch them. Hey, so I catch on catch them. Huh? On catch us on the name. If you are one in the name, who is God? Who is God? What the heaven? Who is God? It's only nine years. School ni Apola. Oh, mammy, the two mammy was cow in our share. Oh, mammy, friends go betting your show. Don't put up a sharp lana, one in the name. At the much missa. At the much missa. Who can you pay? About national half an evening. I don't want to be sad. 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 Come on. I don't want to be sad. 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 Asia. Apala fe na wushia facia wushia makeups wushia nwe wushu school ni monyo owo business carry ni fa bo ni nchen woni ni hye ho na woni ni ha sex no eno wo fi se obofo obi ni wanche wo be chi wo dem a na me fa bo ni nchen anyway, Jesus, what you know? What you know? Oh, my mini, oh, my mini, oh, my panso, and wedge out. Also, I like it. We are one.
Impregnated the young lady.
When you become. You bet from Wapalan. Florence, come!
Okay. After watching that video, I always wonder, okay, so the people who are the members of that church, they sat there and they watched Bishop Daniel Obinim beating those people because of fornication. And we all know his past, his very controversial past with his issues with the deacon's wife. And on this day, he's been caught beating, really whipping people for fornication. Wow. Anyway, we got some views from you on Facebook. Let's just check out what our Facebook page is saying this morning on this very controversial video. Prince Boateng says, as usual, Obinim trends again controversially. Who whipped him when he committed adultery with one of his own junior pastor's wife? Standing against obvious wrong is not judging. He's simply following directives from his God. It's not his will. So far as there are people like Mensa Otabil, Charles Ajenasari, Bannerman Duck, Heward Mills, Duncan Williams, and a few others who trend based on issues, it's quite safe. Alberta says, Jesus, the Son of the living God, never whipped the woman who was caught committing adultery. He told her to go and sin no more. I don't know how an angel Obinim can go about whipping people for fornication. He who has no sin should cast the first stone. Obinim definitely is spotlessly clean. Samuel Obeng also writes, the schoolboy is not responsible for the pregnancy. Obinim is. The schoolboy and the pregnant schoolgirl have been bribed to be allowed to be disgraced in front of the congregation just to cover up the crimes that Obinim has committed. DNA test will prove it. Well, let's find out from the DNA what that actual result is. Real Biggie. Okay, some responses from what Samuel Obeng said. Says, Massa, we need the proof from the DNA test. Real Biggie says, Bishop Daniel again, you know, all the time. Esther, when is the police, the media, the Christian Council, and bishops of mega churches, human rights activists in Ghana going to put an end to Obinim's nonsense and lawlessness? And as for his wife and followers, the least said about them, the better. Enoch Techi, seriously, I don't think Bishop Daniel Obinim has done wrong by openly lashing and rebuking the young adults for sleeping in inverted quotes. This has the backing in Christian law, but may not be in tandem with or in contravention of provisions in fundamental human rights law. Again, that is why you don't apply common sense and natural national constitution to Christian or biblical principles. And those who think nothing good can come out of the outspoken, lavish, self-titled doctor and prophet must spare him for this very act of lashing spree. Seems Enoch is the only one who agrees with the actions of Bishop Obinim in that video. Papa Cash was also saying that, we could just scroll up rather briefly. Papa Cash, such barbaric acts is what the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Nana Oyelitha, the human rights lawyer and advocate, should be dealing with instead of signing petitions. Oh, Ghana, we have suffered. Edem. Yes, he's saying we should just relax when even headache is attributed to spiritualism. That's how you'll forever be treated. And we have some messages on WhatsApp as well. And here is Hakeem from Tamale saying, there's nothing wrong with the action of the bishop. After all, religion is the opium of the people. Gideon from Ibkopong says, I sometimes feel pity for some people who seek God through the hands of these magicians. The ultimate reason is lack of education and common sense. This guy called Bishop Obinim must be arrested. Some of us will enter into law because of these behaviors. Some of your messages on Facebook and on WhatsApp, but what are the people on the streets of Accra saying?
It's good. It's good that he says so, because many people support the morale, as he says. That's why it is also good.
To me, I would say what he did is not all that right, but I'm also scared talking about the man of God. But even in the Bible, when the woman fornicated and was about being stoned, Jesus Christ even stood against that. So I think I wouldn't be judgmental here, but all I can say is what he did is not right as compared to the relation I'm having with the Bible.
In fact, like 3 months ago or a couple of months ago, Obinim had the same issue. Wasn't beaten by God. It wasn't beaten by God. So why should he lash them in front of them or in the congregation? It is very, very bad.
The video I haven't seen, but I have heard it. You see, but if like me, I won't allow the pastor to make me something. If I make something, if you like, only thing is your church. You sack me, I will go. But you don't get a chance to beat me. You lie. If you are me and you, war will come.
As I said, this is definitely the week for the pastors, and now we have another man of God who is in the news again for perhaps another controversial reason. This time, he's expressing his views about governance in the country. Now, Reverend Steve Mensah is the General Overseer of the Charismatic Evangelistic Ministry, and he says Ghanaians are expecting too much from their leaders, and so it's more like the leaders are being forced to perform magic. Now, this is also generating a lot of comments on social media. But before we read what you are sending through our social media handles, let's find out what people are saying on the streets of Accra.
Excuse me to say, it's a very nonsense thing. The big men in power, let's take it, our president and the rest, they are not making magic. We, the Ghana people, have to help him. But we ourselves, we are making calabole. Those want the government to make what? I'm not supporting any party. You see, I'm not supporting. But if somebody talks something where it's not good, if you want something, and me, I don't like. It's the same thing. We get right, we get correct, we get wrong. So the thing they are talking is for me out.
The government has a part to play, and we, the citizens, to have our own part. So whatever the government is doing, we got to also support, but we don't have to expect much more. For instance, you cannot be in your house expecting the government to come and feed you every morning, every afternoon. That the government has a role to play, so you relax at home. You also have to get up to go and do whatever you think that it will help you. But by so doing, that is when you will see that you don't expect much more about the government.
We need much from our leaders because a leader should set an example. A leader should be an ambitious person. So if you're an ambitious person, I think you can be able to lead your people. And for the look of things, it's like things are not working out the way we expect it to be. So I think we expect much from our leaders. They should see to it. We are complaining much.
Actually, we are expecting more from our leaders because normally our taxes and all that we are doing, or the income that we are getting from Ghana here, like the revenues, the mining sectors, everything goes to them. And they are entitled to do good with the money that they get to make roads, schools, other things so that we can feel comfortable in this country. We expect more from them. Because when you look through Africa and look about foreign countries, in the foreign countries, they don't have anything. They don't have much thing like mirror that African people have us. But we are still being what? We are hungry, we don't have facilities, more facilities to like cater for ourselves, our schools, other things, so that we can feel comfortable. No, it's very bad. In Africa, for instance, it's very, very bad.
So there we have some views from the streets of Accra on what you think on Reverend Steve Mensah's opinion that perhaps as a people we expect too much from our leaders, and maybe we should just, ease back a little bit, let them do what they can, and stop expecting them to perform magic during their 4-year tenure. Let's check out some of your messages on Facebook right now. Kweku Charles in Nkrumah says, I'm not sure if we expect too much, but what we need from our leaders is very simple. They should improve on what Kwame Nkrumah started, do new things, provide for the underprivileged in society as it is elsewhere. Unless our government stops asking or taking taxes, we have to expect more from them. And indeed, they made those promises. And like a dad not providing for his children, Sir, help us put pressure on our leaders so as to have a beautiful Ghana. United Arab Emirates 20 years back was a slum, in quotes. I salute you, sir. Good morning. Anthony Agle, it just so happens that the magic, in quotes, is being performed by other equally human leaders elsewhere. And it's fitting that Ghanaians require the same of their leaders, especially as the position they occupy wasn't forcibly thrust on them. Ahmed Yusuf, Reverend, I vehemently disagree with you. Ghanaians are rather charitable towards our leaders. They promise us more than we demand of them. My MP promised jobs and infrastructure, knowing very well that he should not be doing that because it's not his duty. When my president promises to put money in my pocket, it's not fair that I demand such after. Is it not fair that I demand such after voting for him? Reverend, if you promise your church members miracles, you must perform miracles. Frederick, who says it's the leaders who have brought all these undue pressures on themselves. They make unrealistic promises. So we, the hearers, will think they have ultimate solutions to our problems. Seth also writes, no, Ghanaians are only asking political leaders to fulfill promises made during political campaigns. If you promise putting money into their pockets, just do it. If you promised a better Ghana full of milk and honey, just let them feel it, and that's all. Well, right now, Joy News Interactive takes a quick break, and we're crossing over live to where President John Dramani Mahama will symbolically turn on the production valve of the floating production, storage, and offloading vessel, FPSO John Evans Atta Mills, to officially commence production of oil in commercial quantities at the Trinidad oil fields. Stay tuned. And you know, this is Joy News Interactive, and we can't leave you without giving you a video of the day to watch and enjoy and carry with you for the rest of the day. My name is Jennifer Kwamwa. Enjoy.